This program contains material that may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Disaster strikes at the world-famous Tour de France. Nelson, a yellow lab, walks right into the path of a cyclist.
I braked, but I couldn't go right or left because I was too fast, and sorry, but I only could hit the dog.
Riders swerve to go around the dog, but Marcus Burkhardt, competing in his first Tour de France, can't avoid him. He slams into Nelson at a bone-crushing 30 miles an hour.
Somebody's coming and running at me and tell me that Nelson has been hit by a bike, and quite a serious hit.
Bertrand Roche, Nelson's owner, is horrified.
I don't know if he could die in such an accident.
Bertrand had left Nelson sleeping at his mom's house to go watch the cyclists whiz by. But minutes later, the lad walks right into the path of cyclists as he crosses the street to where Bertrand's nephew, Nathan, is standing.
I'm thinking, oh no, it's gonna hit Nelson.
This pack of cyclists are now got the all clear and are under.
Commentator Phil Liggett, the voice of cycling, can't believe his eyes.
Marcus hit this dog with one thumb.
Someone came and told me that there was a problem with Nelson, so I was really scared.
As Bertrand races down the hill to Nelson, he can only wonder what possessed his dog to wander out into the path of the cyclists. And then it hits him.
He was quite old now already, and starting to be a little bit deaf.
Nelson spent much of his early years as a flying dog, taking to the skies with his owners, paragliding champions Bertrand and Claire Roche.
Each time we would go on a place without taking him with us in the air, he would bark all the time.
But by the time of his accident, Nelson had hung up his flying goggles. At 9 years old, he was getting hard of hearing, so the Roches would raise their voices to give commands.
If we want Nelson to come to us or to go somewhere, we always say, allez, allez.
In French, allez, allez means go, go. Then it dawns on Bertrand what may have happened.
So I think Nelson heard that sound like everybody was calling, allez, allez. He must have started something in his mind and saying, somebody's calling for me.
He almost makes it, but then he's T-boned by Marcus's front wheel.
I've never seen one of these carbon fiber wheels collapse, with this literally bent in half.
And that's where Nelson has a stroke of luck. The bike wheels used by Marcus that day are of a super lightweight carbon fiber construction. So when Nelson is hit, Marcus's front wheel absorbs the impact and collapses, most likely saving Nelson from serious internal injuries.
We went to the hospital for a dog, and then the doctor, he looks at him and nothing seems to be broken. He was okay actually. He was quite a tough boy.
Nelson is a little bruised but makes a complete recovery. Marcus continues the race on another bicycle.
Our mailbag was full of questions. How was the dog? Nobody asked how Marcus was.
Nelson lives out the rest of his days before finally passing peacefully away. But for Bertrand, he has only to look up at the eagles soaring high above, and his co-pilot is with him again.
He had an extraordinary life.
A female diver straps chunks of fish to her arms and waits to be attacked by killer sharks. It's the most bizarre human shark bait experiment of all time. But in the blink of an eye, she's in a life or death struggle.
It came in and grabbed her arm and didn't let go.
Ron and Valerie Taylor spent their lives swimming with sharks. The husband and wife dive team gained fame for shooting underwater scenes for the movie Jaws. But it's on this day, while filming blue sharks for a TV show about the Pacific Deep, that changes their lives forever.
Valerie was hand feeding the blue sharks to attract them into a feeding mode.
Then, with a flash of teeth and tail, disaster strikes.
I'm down about 15 metres I look up and I can see Valerie is hitting a shark. And as I get closer, I can see the green blood. Blood looked green underwater because of the filter. And I could see the cut in her wetsuit.
She makes it to the dive boat clutching her leg.
We get to the surface and Valerie yells out, "Start your cameras, I've been bitten by a shark." It's just amazing how Valerie's temperament.
Although in great pain, Valerie remains calm and does not go into shock.
I peeled the wetsuit back a little bit and I could see all this red flesh and I knew it was a pretty nasty wound.
Valerie has to be airlifted to a hospital, but she survives.
Valerie was very lucky, in fact, because the greatest danger from a shark bite is when the teeth cut through an artery. Your heart can pump all the blood out through that artery in a minute or two.
This attack inspires Valerie and Ron to test out a metal suit they believe could protect divers against shark bites.
I got the idea that butcher's gloves, and they use a stainless steel glove to protect their hands when they're carving up animal carcasses with razor-sharp knives. I thought, now, a suit of that type of material should protect from the bite of a shark.
That suit is to be made of a material called chainmail.
Chainmail mesh is basically a fabric comprised of individually linked and welded rings.
Darren Cutler, who manages a plant that makes chainmail, says it was inspired by the armor worn by knights of old.
The chainmail that was used by knights in medieval times was chosen primarily to protect the wearer against punctures or cuts due to swords. It's actually very similar to the action that a shark imparts on a diver if bitten, a sawing or cutting type of motion.
Ron and Valerie decide there's only one way to find out for sure if the theory works.
We're going to test the ability of the stainless steel mesh suit to protect a person from the razor-sharp teeth of a feeding shark.
I thought they were absolutely crazy in the beginning. Valerie's nephew, Mark Hayes, is recruited to chum the water with fish and send the sharks into a frenzy. This time, they're in the shark-infested waters 100 miles off the Queensland coast in Australia.
Valerie volunteered to use the suit. I had confidence in the steel mesh that it would be effective. I didn't even consider that there would have been an accident.
These are white-tip reef sharks. At first, they show little interest. So Valerie takes the extraordinary step of strapping pieces of fish to herself.
We actually covered her arm with fillets of fish so that the sharks thought they were biting a fish, not her arm.
In an instant, a shark locks its jaws on Valerie's arm.
I started to feel as if, well, is this shark going to let go? Is it going to stop?
Up next, will the chainmail suit protect Valerie?